Good morning, everybody. Hi, welcome. So, where do we start? First of all, let's say good morning and acknowledge that everything that can go wrong normally goes wrong. So none of my technology and favorite equipment is here. So I got a cheap webcam right here, and my digital board is at my other house. So we're going back to old school pen and paper. Two of my guests are a no-show this morning. One of them sent his apologies a few minutes ago. Something, I hope it's not awful, but something bad happened. And the other one is just a no-show. But the nice thing is Stuart is here. So because I don't have any tech support today, I am kind of running LinkedIn on this computer, which you're never supposed to do, because for those of you who've run StreamYard before, it's a fantastic service, but you can't really engage on LinkedIn itself whilst you're doing that. So let me start off slowly here today. I'm always tend to be in a bit of a rush, but I will force myself to go a little slower today. And bring on Anne Gautreaux. She's going to correct me in a second. Anne, how do I pronounce the last name?
Gautreaux.
And then also Marius de Villiers, whose name I do know how to pronounce, because I spent a long time of my youth in South Africa. So ons kan sommer die taal praat hier, Marius. Goeiemôre, meneer.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right. So the idea behind today is to do this live. I do about every 10th meeting or so I do live. Normally they are inside the Crushing It on LinkedIn group. But let's quickly see. Show you Stuart. Good morning. He's another South African from London. And John is here. John, good morning. And my favorite cookie monster, Grayson Hogarth, is here today. I would have loved to have had Grayson in here in the panel. So these guys have no idea what's coming. And I want to start the whole thing off with a little bit of background, if you guys are okay with that. You see, everything requires a system. And LinkedIn, which, as you know, is part science and part art. You just don't know how much of it, and it's very, very unique to you. So I want to show you a real quick little video, if you don't mind. I'm kind of just experimenting with it, and it's literally just a minute long, right? And now both of you are old enough to remember. Hope that worked. Marius, could you see that?
Yeah. Yep.
Because
bring back lots of memories.
So I was one of those crazy kids that got obsessed with Pac-Man and decided I'm going to figure out how this works and how to win Pac-Man. It was exactly the same with the Rubik's Cube for me, because I'm like, surely there's a system for this. There's a pattern. And if I can just learn the system, then I can win at, I mean, I was a really annoying child. My first business, I don't know, Marius, have you ever been to Swakopmund?
No.
Okay, so kind of where I grew up in Namibia, we had a small holding. In Namibia, small holding farms are the size of like Luxembourg. And we had this piece of land, and I decided that I wanted to grow tomatoes and make money during the summer holidays. I think I was like 8 or 9. So I just developed a system. And obviously in those days, we had some help on the farm, and they were unoccupied. So I said, can I use the tractor? Can you show me how to use the tractor? So I plowed the fields, I planted the tomatoes, and cut a long story short, I planted the whole friggin' box of tomato seeds, which was about this big. So that was literally thousands and thousands of tomato seeds. So now my mother, wanting to teach me a lesson and not be wasteful, said, hey, you better harvest all these tomatoes, and once you got them ready, I'll drive you into town and you can go sell them. So that was the start of my sales career, because I was this tiny little, absolutely shy, introverted little animal that couldn't say boo to anyone. And now here I had to go door to door, literally cold calling, and go. So this is a really small town, and everybody, I think, felt sorry for me. And everybody, including the bookstore, was selling my tomatoes. And I think some people just bought them and threw them out in the back because they felt sorry for me. But that was the start of an interesting career. But the LinkedIn thing happened in exactly the same way, where I teach people how to raise capital. And raising capital is really the same thing as attracting clients, right? They just happen to be walking in with very big checks, and they are more investing in you than they are buying a product, right? But it kind of goes the same. So I love doing this. Like, I love the fact that Anne is here, because other than being a heavy consumer of the travel industry, I know nothing about your business. So for me, this is a bit of a challenge too, right? And the LinkedIn thing, where the crushing it on LinkedIn comes from, is I figured out that, hey, LinkedIn is really like a personal branding page. It's really a personal page where you can do business with. It's replaced cold calling. It's replaced messaging. It's replaced email. It has so many functions. So if somebody is like pinging you and talking to you, well, you can quickly go see who they are and decide whether you want to proceed and do business with them or whether you want to block them. You see what I mean? And it kind of grew from the inside, where I keep teaching, financial advisors and private bankers and venture capitals and, entrepreneurs on how to raise capital and attract their clients. And then I said, just start on LinkedIn, because if you can get your client or capital attraction machine working in an organic way on LinkedIn, well, then it will work anyway. So don't spend money on advertising. Don't spend money on, paid ads, on YouTube ads, all that kind of stuff, until you have organic stuff that converts, that puts bums in seats. So Anne and Marius, like, this is your show as much as it is mine. Please don't be shy. I know you said, Anne, this is the first time you've done this, but I tell you, you're crushing it. You look phenomenal. You look super comfortable. You got good video. You got good audio. And I'm going to take another minute just to explain how I think LinkedIn works. There are a lot of other approaches for people whose approach also works. I just know that my approach works for me and my clients. There are some people who have a completely different approach, but this one really works for me. And the way that I think of LinkedIn, I hope you can see this. Okay, I'm going to write clearly, right? That for me, I always go, okay, strategy, that is supposed to be a multiplication sign, times content plus engagement to the power n. Marius, can you read that okay? Is that a little small?
No, I can see it. Perfect.
The idea behind LinkedIn is really to start with strategy. because Anne's strategy is going to be very different to mine, and is going to be very different to yours. And there, you see these guys on LinkedIn. Some of them, they call themselves LinkedIn influencers or gurus or whatever, right? And they have a massive amount of views, followers, and then you look in the comments. There are like 3 comments, and there's nothing, and they're just basically just turning up every day and spewing stupid shit. There is no plan. There is no strategy behind it. Then there are other people who literally have 2,000 contacts, and they are absolutely crushing it because their strategy, right? Once they've got their content, by the way, if any of you guys have LinkedIn open in the background, you've got to mute that, right? Because otherwise you're going to get like any kind of feedback. So if you think about your content, right? Your content is super, super important, but without engagement, it means nothing. So literally, Anne, I think you just started. You got a couple of 100 followers, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, about 400, I think.
Okay.
Maybe.
So it matters not, by the way. You can be very, very successful on LinkedIn with 500 followers, but you've got to think about your strategy. What is your strategy? What are you here to do, right? And Marius, tell me a little short version of your business and where you're going.
Yeah, so I work for Edward Jones, started at the beginning of this year. And so the idea is, and I'm a figures guy, so my whole thing is get as many people on my LinkedIn as possible, and hopefully something sticks. And I think that's why I got attracted to what you're offering as well, and all the good information that you put out there.
So the best thing that could ever happen to you, by the way, is that the compliance department says, "Thou shalt not speak about your products and your services."
Yes, and that's exactly what's happening with me. So I'm very limited.
It is a blessing. Trust me, it is an absolute blessing, right? Because number one, people find this shit boring. They don't want to talk about investment products. And somehow, if you are constantly talking about investment solutions, that's like blah, 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 wah, wah, wah. And you just literally train people to ignore you, right? So, Marius, have you seen Ariel Lee? She works for Edward,
yes,
right?
Yes. So it's so I looked at the profile, and that's her value proposition. So, and understand the pink, and
it works for her, and
it works for her. She's got 40,000 followers on her LinkedIn.
And she's absolutely delightful, to the point that I actually, Laura Louise and I had dinner with her and her husband in Greenville the other day. And the person that you see on LinkedIn is the person she is in real life. I mean, it's absolutely authentic. I mean, and she is so enjoyable. She's so bubbly. She wears her heart on her sleeve, and she is creating this force, this massive funnel of people who just love her. Make sense?
Makes sense. Yeah.
So her strategy absolutely works for her. She never talks about investment products. As you know, in working for Edward Jones, you cannot, number one. And quite frankly, it is an absolute blessing because people don't want to hear it, right? So
gotcha.
The idea behind LinkedIn is so wonderful, and this will help Anne tremendously, because Anne, give me 30 seconds quickly about your business and who your clients are.
Well, my client can be literally anybody, and I know I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to have a narrower market, but it literally is. I can sell travel to anybody in any sector. So it doesn't really matter if it's a honeymooner or somebody that I'm talking to that wants to do a 50th wedding anniversary luxury trip on some super yacht. It's such a broad spectrum of people, and reaching them, especially during the age of COVID, nobody was traveling. We were all locked down completely. So it's just building customer awareness that I can help you. What does a travel agent do and how we can help? And then finding the trust in people to use me. So It's just an ongoing process every day
Okay.
to reach
So
the client that I need.
So rethink the LinkedIn thing a little bit, right? Because historically LinkedIn has been this thing where it's like your online, your resume, it's your bio, right? It's like a CV, something like that. But what people don't realize is that, you know, anybody who's going to do business with you is going to Google you. Just face the fact. I mean, that it's it's the first thing that happens. So now both of you have all three of us have very unique names, so we can actually be found, right?
Right.
But I control the first 3 or 4 pages of everything that's said about me on Google, right? The nice thing is with LinkedIn, because it's got so many members, so many users, so many backlinks, so many little hidden nooks and crannies, LinkedIn appears literally number 1, number 2, or number 3 on Google results. The cool thing is if you create some content, right? And let's say you're completely shy about content, right? And if you want, I'll take you through my journey about that too, because I was really not a friend of video. And when I started, I would have my videos scripted, and really, I just came across like an idiot, right? Because it's like I have a lot to say, but I would just trip over my tongue. I speak way too many languages, and the whole thing didn't work until I kind of stumbled on this style of, hey, all of my videos are unscripted, unedited, unfiltered, and yeah, very often they're unhinged too. Yeah, I mean, so literally when I create a video, there is nothing here in front of me. Sometimes there'll be like 3-4 bullet points on a whiteboard ahead of me, because, you know, people generally always go like 1, 2, 3, many. And if you don't summarize your videos into 3 points, 4 points, 5 points, yeah, you lose them, right? So I just would start doing these videos, and then I would stop recording and hit upload, and the F-bombs that were in there and the totally inappropriate jokes, and oh God, my poor wife, you know. So, but it was my style. You see what I mean? So I got comfortable with my style that now you can literally drop me in anywhere. I had a terrific experiment with a new client of mine that should have been on here today. And I made this example to him, and he said, well, you probably, I said, give me any subject. And he said, neuroscience. Yeah, I mean, boom, I could give him a 5-minute presentation into neuroscience. None of it is bullshit. None of it is fabricated. It's all real. And if you don't know, you say you don't know. But the authenticity comes through when you do your thing, right? So Marius's thing is going to be very, very different than Anne's thing. But I always come back to this. You have to start with strategy, because a strategy that might work for Marius, which might be a 5-step approach, will be very different than Anne's approach, which might be literally a 1 or a 2 or a 3-step approach, right? But if you use LinkedIn in this old style where you go, okay, click the link here and go to some website where you have to put in your username and password, you're literally going to lose 99%. And the 1% that you don't lose are actually the people that want to spam you and sell you something. You see what I mean? So it's a little depressing if you go that approach. But if you design your strategy first and you decide, okay, what am I here to do? So with that in mind, I want to show you somebody who's got a fairly small LinkedIn following, but I want you to see very quickly, and I did ask his permission to show you this, how his target audience, which is me, by the way, is instantly attracted by him, right? So let me, I'm a little new to the StreamYard thing, so I got to figure out how to do this, because I don't know. Share, there we go. Okay, share screen, and I'm just going to share the whole screen here. Okay, you guys let me know once you can see this.
Yep.
So this is a guy called Scott Jagodzinski, right? Here's his tagline: making men over 50 hard to kill. Like, when he's typing, remember, when you're commenting, when you are in the engagement section, all that people can see is your profile picture, your name, and about this much of the text. But then as soon as you click on his profile, and I go here and I see his banner, making men over 50 harder to kill, actionable and sustainable process to reverse age, torch fat, get strong and shift your identity. So instantaneously, in one view, I know that he's talking to me. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know exactly what he's doing yet, but I know I want it. So now this screen that you're seeing forces my lazy finger to go down and go look at his activity. See what I mean? So now if you look at his content, right? So now we're into content. And he's got a little diagram, and it basically says, your dad bod is shortening your lifespan and making, you see, that's all that you see. That's the hook on his profile. Your dad bod is shortening your lifespan and making you easier to kill. Here's why I care. So then you hit the see more button, and now you read the rest. Okay. So in some ways, Scott is actually qualifying his customers, because the ones that cannot be bothered to read it, right, are not going to be his clients. The ones who don't have a dad bod, right, are also not going to read it because they're not the target market. Make sense? You see how simple yet brilliant this is, right? Around age 50, you may see the danger of the downward spiral that can happen if you don't take action to create true health. Now, here he goes into, hey, I used to be just like you. Make sense? So he is serving the person that he was 12 years ago. The only thing that I don't like here is the email. That's the algorithm is going to really, really hate that, but maybe it works for him. Maybe his client base is tight enough in order to get there. He's using a good personal hashtag where you can go and see all of his harder to kill content, right? But then you look at his engagement. He is there. So I'm talking to him. We're going to be talking about you, Scott Jagodzinski, in today's Crushing It Live. Immediately he comes back. Thanks. Love to hear what you and your team discuss. You see what I mean? So he's getting a little bit of comments. Obviously, I could help him get more, but I wanted to show you what a good profile, a good banner picture, what that looks like. All right, let's stop the screen share. So do you see how Scott's strategy might be to create content that is going to, plus engagement, that is going to drive people into his funnel? So if you'll bear with me real quickly before we get started on your profile, so that it's not overwhelming, just think of, and especially you, I will work more with Marius because that's my area of speciality offline. But I want you to think of LinkedIn as 3 basic funnels. Okay, we're going to do a purple, we're going to do a blue. Let me pick another color. Kevin Belt sent me these cool markers because I keep running out of markers. Okay. I have a bit of feedback in the thing here, but so just think of this as step 1, step 2, and step 3, okay? So let's just pick Anne. If I was you, I would be creating post after post after post of travel porn.
Interesting.
Because if I was selling food or travel, I would think of myself on Instagram creating these beautiful posts. I would create them on your blog or something like that, and then auto post to LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all these places, and just become the queen of cool travel. The reason why I would do that, same as if I owned a food truck, I would just be posting food porn all day long, because pictures of beautiful places that you want to travel to, plus the occasional absolute travel disaster picture, right? Of like, don't try this at home, kids. Plus the occasional video of a honeymoon trip gone wrong, right? Is what I call very strategic content. So think of it like a beautiful Japanese garden. You know, I spent a lot of time in Asia, and my thing between meetings, I would find these wonderful Japanese gardens and just walk around, and there's a little bridge, and then there's a special tree over here, and there's a bench, and then there's a waterfall, and there's a whole thing. So think of this as your target client, right? Who, as you say right now, is anybody. And that's where you're going wrong, because it's not anybody. You need people that can, number one, afford to travel, because your customer is not somebody who's going to buy a $59, God, what is that awful airline out of Colorado? Frontier or something, or Allegiant, or one of these low cost airlines. Yeah, I mean, that is not your customer. You know, those people that are too cheap to check their luggage, so they carry it all on the plane with them, and they're too cheap to buy the slightly more expensive economy ticket, so they board last with fucking 15 bags of shit, and they're hitting everybody on the way in and all that kind of stuff. So there's a rant video for you right there. Make sense? Because I could do that video for you, like literally right now. Create a video about a rant, like, don't you friggin' hate people who do this shit? Bam, 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 bam. 1, 2, 3, bam. And then they're so noisy, and then they bring all their food on board, and then they're eating like I don't know, Marius will know, they're eating samosas on the plane, you know what I mean? And it's just awful, right? There's a rant video followed by a beautiful new undiscovered location, and you got to come back to strategy. What type of trips are you offering to what type of clientele that they can't do it themselves? This is absolutely worth you taking some time out. No technology, no phone, no nothing, just old school, pen and paper, and do it every morning until God comes to visit you and goes, hey, listen, this is how you're going to do it. You see what I mean? Because your target is not everybody. If you're trying to talk to everybody, you're going to talk to nobody.
Right.
You know, the same goes for Marius, right? So he works for Edward Jones, which is a very, very unique company, actually. But he's really working for himself. So in one sense, you could say, yeah, I could help everybody. Yeah, I mean, no, you can't help everybody. You have to be very, very specific. So I'm looking for a purple man, and, you know, we're brave enough to call them men and women, with a green hat, wearing a red flag. Silly little avatar, but you really want to know who it is that you want to serve. And I've got some more training videos on that. It all started with me when I watched Simon Sinek's, why video, find the why. But then I went even deeper, because once you know who you want to attract, and once you know who you want to serve, and who, like when my phone rings, I'm super happy, because it's either one of those people calling me to renew my vehicle insurance thing. And I love screwing with them. And so it's entertainment for me, or it's somebody who needs my help. And if like in Marius's case, right, have this philosophy of serve hard, sell easy. Okay. You change the whole mindset of like, who do I want to serve? Because if you're just waking up every morning and serving people with your superpower, with your skills, with your stuff, right? Then you can, like the Pac-Man winning at Pac-Man, you can create a system where even on the days that you don't feel like it, you're turning up and you're getting to serve people. But coming back to the content part, this is hard. This is really hard to do this stuff, and you need to create a system. So my system is I create all my content on a Saturday morning, and it has to all be done within 1 cup of coffee. So boom, 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 boom. I will literally create 10, 15 posts, auto schedule them in advance. And then I have a little ritual. First thing I do in the morning, I grab a cup of coffee. I get in the hot tub with my phone. I kid you not, 3 dog biscuits. The dogs come for their dog biscuits. And then I do my engagement in the hot tub on the phone. And when the coffee is finished, the dog biscuits are finished, and I'm fed up of the hot tub, I have to get out. So for me, that is literally 20 minutes on a Saturday morning, 20 minutes every morning of engagement. So I have created a system of creating this content and then engaging with the content in a meaningful way that basically attracts my ideal client to the next phase, the next portion of my LinkedIn funnel. Any of this making sense to you so far?
It does make a lot of sense. I have the content, I just don't get the engagement. So
Okay.
I need to somehow work on the engagement and finding ways to get those people to start interacting.
So there is no way to beat around the bush. Obviously, some of it is a system and a habit, but if your content is not creating engagement, you're doing something wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's something wrong. The way that you got to think about it is there are 3 customers that you serve on LinkedIn. Number 1 are your existing contacts. Those are your 400, 500 existing contacts. Number 2 are their contacts. But especially for you right in the beginning, number 3 is the LinkedIn algorithm. I call it the LinkedIn Wookiees, right? They want to see your content so that, for example, if you write something interesting at the right time, using the right hashtags, not breaking any of the cardinal sins of LinkedIn, LinkedIn is going to take your post, right? And let me think of something as an example. And it's going to go, okay, so let me take this post and send it to Anrik and Marius, and let's see what they do with it. If Anrik and Marius are not engaging with your post and you're not re-engaging back with us, it basically goes, here's something more interesting. Let's fly that up the flagpole. So LinkedIn has an interesting thing. In the first hour or 2, it will basically take your content and send it out as a test trial to people. So in your case, that is going to be 30, 40 people, Anne. And if those 30, 40 people, this is why who you connect with is super important at this early stage. Remember, I've built my LinkedIn twice. I got to 34,000 people, and then I realized this is stupid. And then I did a couple of mistakes with merging with a mail merge. So I got reported for spam literally 400 times in one day because LinkedIn did this thing. Once you hit my network, and I wasn't paying attention. I was multitasking, and men should never multitask. So I clicked, submit, and it basically, sent a mail merge out to all of my 16,000 contacts that were in my address book. And, a lot of them were Swiss, and, the Swiss are kind of a little mean sometimes. They're like, I don't know this person. I don't know this person. I don't know this person. So I got reported for spam, and then LinkedIn tried to delete me. And then I had a shit fit with them, and I told them to stick it. And I started from scratch again. And that's when I realized that your early network that you're building, which in your case, Anne, are contacts, not followers, Make them really good. Make them really good. Think of LinkedIn as this. I don't know. I've recently discovered scuba diving as a school of fish, and especially for Marius, this will work for you too. You think of the school of fish, and you've got to know that, hey man, I like tuna and barracuda. We're cool. We're tuna and barracuda, and we're going in that direction. If a shark comes up and wants to join it, or some kind of spammer, or some kind of Bitcoin guy, or it used to be the Forex guys, whatever, the people that are just basically spamming everybody to death, those people are not going to engage on your posts. So when LinkedIn takes your hard-earned post and shows it to your trial audience in the morning, those people are not going to engage. So you're going to get 1 or 2 comments instead of like all of your vibe. All of you, remember, your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And you want your tribe to come out, then go and yeah, you know what I mean? Woohoo! You want people coming up, you want your fans going, I love this. So you're better off finding 10 people that you really love and just talking to them all day long so that they get notified of your post, and they are a bit like you are with my posts. Make sense?
Right.
Like you are one of the most loyal people on my posts, to the point that I feel I have a relationship with you, and if you ask me to do something, I will do it. So your engagement actually works really well, but you now got to get it on the other way, going the other way. Okay, so coming back to the content, right? So you create this garden of content that is strategically aligned with the thing that you're trying to do down here, because yours and Marius's are going to be very different, but they're actually the same. You want bums on seats. You want people to, whatever your strategy is, come into your DMs or set up a call with you, set up a meeting with you. You've got to think about that, right? So I'm going to give you a couple of examples of what you could do, but at the end of the day, you've got to do what works for you. So in the middle of the section here, this is always what I refer to as where you are making diamonds out of coal. Or you're making limoncello out of lemons that you've been served. Some people say life, deals you lemons, make lemonade. I'm like, no, bullshit. Make limoncello, invite all your friends and get drunk together. Because that's my more style. So because what you're trying to do in here is create a mini reverse funnel where through some very basic steps, they can deepen the relationship. They can go deeper with you. They can either just please don't call it a webinar. Don't do webinars because it's so tacky and people just it's awful. You could do a weekly travel blog. You could do a weekly Zoom call, Anne, where you just talk about travel and you have a simple little recipe. My financial controller once taught me a simple framework that I still use today in every meeting: stop, start, continue. So you first talk about with any employee what you need to stop doing. Then we're going to talk about what you need to start doing, and we finish it on a positive note. Keep doing this, continue doing that. Make sense, right? So that's a framework, and you can create a framework like that for a Friday afternoon, 50 Shades of Travel with Anne. You see what I mean? Whatever your thing is, you can create a little mini event in here where the purple people, that guy is a green person. We don't want those. Is a climate change dude. We want purple people with green hats to go, yeah, that's interesting. I'm going to go walk over the bridge and go join Anne on Friday afternoon at her cheese and wine thing. For Marius's business, this stuff I can do with my eyes closed because I started life as what he's doing now. You create you can do this through pre-recorded videos, evergreen videos. You can do this through weekly Zoom sessions. You can do whatever, because at the bottom here, I now got to switch to red. Your strategy is for people to book a call. And on that call, You're going to interview them. You're going to talk to them. You're going to get to know them. You're going to qualify them some more. You're going to basically become that voice in their head, because if you are basically discussing and explaining your ideal client's problem or desire in a way that is clearer than anybody else, and you show him that there are 3 things he could do right now to make his life better, he's going to go, holy crap, she is the voice in my head. You know, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. Yeah, I should do this. And after the call with you, hell yeah, I'm going to do this. You see what I mean? So you're trying to create this ladder. I know I've got to, normally ladders go up and I'm doing it down, but your funnel could be very simply divided into 1. Here's your content that attracts and rejects your ideal client. You put them in the washing machine here, or in the press, in the diamond press, where they get some time with you to further deepen that relationship, so that they can go in the VIP box and they can be invited to become a client of yours. This is not they become a client, they get invited to become a client of yours, because from here they have to fulfill step 1, step 2, and step 3 in order to become a client. 7. So strategy first. Don't be a perfectionist. Don't try and think you've got to get it all ready. Just start. Become this iterationist where you just start producing content. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Then you try the next thing. Then you try the next thing. I sometimes have I reuse, as much as I hate doing it, I started doing it and it feels really good. I reuse content that really works extremely well. And sometimes it bombs, even though it got 1.5 million views last time. And it just bombs. And then I'll analyze, why did it bomb? Well, because I had 3 posts before it and 2 posts after it that have shelf life, and LinkedIn doesn't want to have too much of my stuff on the feed. So it's going to kill something. So it's a matter of that was just science. That was not art. And then other times, if you've seen some of my videos, I can come across like a real asshole, like I'm well-intended, but I just come across badly. It just doesn't resonate. I mean well, but the stuff that's coming out of my mouth says, this guy's a prick. It just happens. So the idea behind the strategy is to have a plan for your content, and the content is what is going to drive people to your profile. So get like that profile I just showed you on Scott Jagodzinski, right? Make sure that your profile identifies your purple man with the green hat, that you really know who you want to serve. So there's this total, I don't know, he's quite brilliant, but I think he's a bit of a crook on YouTube. And he taught me really one thing. Build your expertise or your product 2 inches wide, but go 2 miles deep. Even if afterwards, Anne, you want to serve other people, think of them as verticals, but first go and crush one of them. For me, it happened in that I started serving fund managers, because I come from the asset management industry. And so I would teach fund managers how to raise capital for their funds. And then a financial advisor came to me and they said, "Oh, can you help me?" And I'm like, "Yeah," with my eyes closed, because that's where I came from, right? That's the first industry I ever started. So then I would help financial advisors. And then a Swiss private bank came up and said, "Can you help our private bankers do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course." Yeah, I mean, and so on. So vertical after vertical after vertical. So really think about this, and you cannot serve everybody. You need to serve people who really want to travel. Even if you just focused on women that want to travel by themselves, that is a massive market. I think of my mother-in-law, right? She's just a darling, delightful, wonderful woman. But for her whole life, she was married to my late father-in-law, and they always traveled together. So she has not lost her desire to travel. She has just lost her travel companion. So if there was a group or a travel agent or a travel person that created 5 trips a year, and you did an Italy thing, and you did something closer, and you did whatever, where single women on their own can travel together. Holy shit, that would put bums on seats right now, because you would build a community. You could create it all on, it can be omni platform, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of these kind of places. You know what I mean? They probably don't hang out on LinkedIn. They're going to hang out on other things. But you create this, and you can go and create 10 videos of 5 steps to be cognizant of if you are a woman traveling alone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then once a month, you do an interview with somebody, a security guy or something like that. Top 5 destinations that you should explore if you are a widow and still want to travel. Bam, bam, bam. I could create you 100 pieces of content in an hour right now, just because I know who I want to serve. Makes sense?
Yeah.
So let me switch from you to Marius. I feel like I'm neglecting.
It's okay.
I'm neglecting Marius. So Marius, there are so many Edward Jones offices in the world. There are Schwab, there are Morgan Stanley, there are, God, you name it, right? And people will spend more time and energy choosing a refrigerator and what car they're going to buy than they do in their future life and their investments, right?
Yep.
And people don't call you up and go, "Hey, Marius, and those investment things, can I have 3 of them?" You know what I mean? It doesn't work like that, because financial services are sold, not bought.
Gotcha.
So the last thing you want to be doing on social media is trying to sell financial services, right? You have to have a completely different strategy, because you're trying to build relationships. And think about it like this: everybody either has a problem they don't want, or they have a result that they don't yet have. So there's 20 pieces of content right there.
Yeah.
And I want to show you one cool thing. You might have seen this from me before, right? This is literally my favorite quotation from Blair Warren. People will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and most importantly, help them throw rocks at their enemies. So there is your next 10 pieces of content. Go through that again. Encourage their dreams. So many of us have stopped dreaming. We have become victims to our political macroeconomic situation. We have become television addicts. We have just stopped dreaming. We've gotten married, we've gotten old, we've gotten unhealthy, where we are basically reacting rather than going out and pursuing our dreams. So many of us have failed at investing. Oh yeah, I tried that once. I'm like, when was that? Yeah, in 1987. I'm like, seriously? You're using that as an excuse to not invest in this thing? Yeah, I mean, allay their fears. Oh God, am I going to get the timing right? Yeah, I mean, like, no, timing is only important in humor and in sex. That's it. Yeah, I mean, there's 3 pieces of content right there. What about confirming their suspicions? Yeah, I don't trust these guys. You know, the last guy I worked, and I'm like, yeah, well, the reason why they call them brokers is because, number one, they're broker than you, and number 2, they're going to make you broker. Yeah, I mean, that's not who I am. I am a financial consigliere. I am the partner in your family. So I'm going to help you stay on track. I'm going to help you reignite your manhood and be a provider for your family. And should you not make it for some possible reason, I will be there to advise your wife and your family because I am the family's consigliere. I am the trusted advisor. It is a whole different strategy with a whole different type of content than, oh, yeah, the market went up, the market did this, the market did that. I mean, it's all bollocks. You know what I mean? So, you've got to really, really, think about this. Think about your strategy, Marius. It's super important. And think about who this guy is. Who is your purple man with a green man? This is the hardest and most important work for you, because the thing that you want to try and get to when you build in your LinkedIn profile, right, is there we go. I got a rundown on this. Okay. Where people are approaching it's just coming on the bottom of the screen, right? Where people that are clicking on your content, they are seeing what you're writing, they are seeing how you're commenting, they are watching you show up. Because remember, 90% of people are lurking in the background, right? And they need to see that this is for you if 1, 2, 3, so that you can get more time freedom. Be more present at home with your family, sleep better. At the end of the day, live life and business on your terms. That's Laura Louise's term. That's what she teaches people. You see what I mean? But your profile, which is only going to get clicked on if you've created content and engagement that justifies it, right? Make sense?
Yeah.
So almost you can't create content and engagement if you don't have the strategy right. But strategy without content and engagement means nothing. And that is why I always put this thing up here. And you can't really see it because outside of the brackets is to the power N. The most successful people I know in the world are not the smartest, but they're the guys who turn up. The guys who turn up. They don't try it 14 times. They don't try it 17 times. I mean, I've had people who've been through my Crushing It course that are literally, absolutely crushing it because they have taken what I've taught them, made it their own, experimented with it, failed, experimented with it, tried, modified it, and now they're doing their thing. Even though it's some of my ideas and stuff in the background, I can't take credit for it because they are the ones in the arena who are getting their hands dirty and they're doing it every single day. Some people say, listen, I cannot do this. I'm going to do this on a weekly basis. I'm like, please, I beg you, just do it three times a week. Do it on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, because the audience that you're going to find on a Tuesday and a Saturday are completely different. I also have posts. I experiment with a lot of stuff. I'll do a post about cars on a weekend at 11 o'clock at night. Completely different audience. I tell you, not even 10% overlap with my normal day-to-day audience. Because I really know and I really talk to people all the time about who. And I think that is the most important part, is like, who do you want to serve? Who do you not want to serve? And I think that's going to be so much more powerful for you if you start talking about who do you not want to serve. Because number one, people are a little nasty. People are a little mean, as Twitter will tell you, as you'll see on Twitter if you spend 2 minutes on Twitter. But like some of my most successful posts are where I'm ranting about something that's wrong, and everybody jumps on that. Yeah. So then people can see in that post what my values are, even though I'm talking about what pisses me off. Followed the very next day by an inspirational post that has nothing whatsoever to do with my business, but it shows what lights my heart up, what is so important for me. I am prepared to talk about God. I am prepared to talk about religion. You can't talk about sex on LinkedIn because you'll just get get banned completely, and I don't know anything about the subject anyway, according to my wife. But my humor comes out, and my humor is what it is. And if you don't like it, you know what? Let me offend you right up here before I've spent time, energy, and money with you down here, because you're never going to become a client of mine anyway. You see what I mean?
Right.
And people who can't afford you, Anne, they're never really going to be able to afford you. So you've got to be really, really clear. And I move in the charter industry of yachts a lot. And there are lots and lots of tire kickers, people who want to go check out your boat and test it and get on board and have you answer lots of. No, they're just boat geeks. They cannot spend $300,000 a week chartering a boat. You see what I mean? So they are not the target market.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to get really clear who you want to serve, and then you go serve them. You don't sell them, you serve them. And it's a gift. I tell you, it is such a gift, right? So that idea, have that idea of one of my favorite movies, like one of my top 5 movies, other than A Good Year with Russell Crowe, is Under the Tuscan Sun with.
It's good.
And I love it. And she's on a gay bus tour, gay and away. You know what I mean? And talk about that is a segment that your audience will know exactly who you are and that you are talking to them, right? So you could literally create the widows who travel. It could be a global movement. And you could do that in a flash. And you would be so much better doing that than me. I thought of creating a group on LinkedIn saying women who do LinkedIn. Yeah, I prefer the company of women. I find they are just so much more interesting than most men, because men, if we didn't play football together and we didn't go to school together and we didn't go to the army together, we don't really have much to talk about except business. Yeah. So I love teaching, women how to do LinkedIn. So that could be a whole business just for me alone. You see what I mean? It's drilling really deep down into who that you want to serve. Then it becomes this pleasure and almost a duty that if you don't do it, you're actually being unfair. You're doing the world a disservice. So,
Annie, can I ask a question? So I've kind of tried to focus on geographical area. It doesn't look like you use that to define your target market. Is that correct?
Say that again, Maria. Sorry, you just cut out in one piece.
Yeah. So geographical area, would that also be one of the definitions of a target market?
Those are the historic easy ones, and that's where your typical sales avatar will go. But if you think about it, right, 90% of all of your marketing, branding, prospecting, funnel magnet, right, can actually all be done digitally. So do you care whether somebody's in Utah or South Carolina?
No, not really.
Do you want them to be a blue guy or a red guy? Like, do you want to serve snowflakes with tattoos in San Francisco, or do you want to serve guys in North Carolina, for example, that just sold his fire sprinkler company and knows nothing about investments, but he's got $200 million?
Yeah, I suppose.
Keep asking yourself questions.
Yeah,
right? And
yeah,
if Marius,
narrow it down.
If your process down here involves meeting with people face to face, obviously geography is going to be important. For me, it matters not. I run a group like this in Australia. I have another one for Asia. I have one for the Middle East and Europe, and I have one in the United States. Same content, same training, different times of day. I put 10, 15 people in in a group together so that they get to know each other, introduce them, and their network grows, right? So the geography is not important to me, but I deal with it differently. So my mother tongue is actually German, and I could be doing this in German. I just don't like the Germans. Yeah. It's just the people just don't resonate with me. I mean, and the style, and so I don't resonate with them. So geography, yeah, Germany, no thanks. Yeah, I mean, you've got to decide that based on your funnel, and if you can serve them. And if you're relatively new to the whole digital domain, really just create a simple funnel and say, here is my process, and I will happily work with you on that, Marius, where you say, okay, here are the 5 steps so that Marius de Villiers can help you. Yeah, I mean, this is the audience, this is the target audience, and I'll show you a really, really quick hack, and I hadn't intended to do that, and I have a bigger video on that. Everybody, Marius, in your industry, okay, has this tendency, and I think the same goes for Anne, to start talking about the what. We do it at a cocktail party. So, Marius, what do you do? I mean, everywhere you go, what do you do? And then they wait for you to finish talking, absorbing nothing, just so that they can get a turn to talk. You've heard about Simon Sinek's find your why. I think the most important thing is to find your who. Because bear with me as I go through this. If you know really who it is that you want to serve, and you start identifying them, and you say, okay, I want red men with blue hats, or I want purple woman with red heads. I'm just drawing them on purpose. But I can't serve both of these right at the moment, so I'm going to do this one first and this one next. But I want to serve them because, you see what I mean? So, Anne, if we take the widows who travel example, there is such a powerful why that you could find. And I'm not telling you to do that. I'm just saying, find your why you want to serve these people, and you've just crushed 80% of it. Because if you talk about your who, especially on LinkedIn, then people will know, like Scott Jagodzinski, I still have it open here, making men over 50 harder to kill. I mean, God, that talks to me. Like I just want to sign up. The problem is Scott's middle of his funnel is not really working very well. Otherwise, I'd be a customer of his already. I just got busy and all this kind of stuff. And he doesn't have a systematic way of following it up and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, if you can talk about your who and your why all day long, then the middle of your funnel, right? Where's that piece of paper gone? Excuse me, this is very, very professional. Normally there's a golden retriever down here that freaks out when I do this, but now in the middle of your funnel, you can now talk about how you serve these people. You see what I mean? So yeah, I help people just like you that want 1, 2, 3, so that they can get more A, B, and C. Well, how do I serve them? Well, come and join us, and I'll show you how I do it. Come and join us on this on our weekly Zoom call, and I'll introduce you to some other people who want to travel with you. You see what I mean? So now you talk about the how, and then right at the end you have a sign up page, and I'm just going to put a $sign here, where you talk about the what. And the what, like in Marius's case, is the most cost-effective, risk-averse way that I can serve these people, because I really give a shit and I know exactly how to do this, and I'm going to serve you. So it becomes this fulfilling, self-fulfilling mechanism where the people that are in here bring you all of your other customers. It's like it becomes this this washing machine that just keeps circling and circling and circling and circling. You see what I mean? And like I have a friend on LinkedIn and in real life, Andy Pancholi, you know what I mean? And he's starting to do that now. But then he loses his momentum. He's live on here right now, I think he is. Let me see if Andy's here. Oh, he keeps saying I can't get in. But if he's typing this, then he's obviously here. Even his buddy Bill sees him. So, the idea behind this is that you've got to create a machine where every day you can just go up and turn up and serve. And LinkedIn is a wonderful way to do it. But obviously you can't do it only on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, and you know what? They generally, do you remember Skype? Everybody in the world was using Skype. I'm like, what happened to that? Yeah, I mean, generally Microsoft destroys everything they buy, and the danger with LinkedIn is that if you speak against the stream and you speak against the current mode of brainwashing, they will just delete you so quickly. So you've got to be very, very careful. This is not a political platform, but your clientele might be attracted to you because you are not like everybody else. If you are trying to be beige, trying to be compliant, trying to be like everybody else, well, guess what? Nobody's going to know. You've got to stand up for what you want to believe in. But if you do it on LinkedIn, you're treading on some very dangerous snakes. That so I always say, build your brand, start on LinkedIn, get conversions, move it to YouTube, move it to Twitter, move it to Truth Social, move it to Rumble. If you're doing the gay NOA trip, move it to, what's the other one, the one that you're on, Marius, Grindr, right? That's my sense of humor. Anyway, that's like Tinder for for one of the guys that bowl from the pavilion end.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? I'm just making jokes. I always making jokes. But the whole idea is you've got to go to where your audience hangs out. So if your audience, look at that dog, Anne, he's cool, man.
I know, he's getting restless.
No. Oh, I had German Shepherds when I lived in Hong Kong. I had Cuba Libre and Shaka Zulu. Those are my two Shepherds. Such nice.
Yeah, I got two, and he's the fussy one.
I see it. Yeah. Anyway, so look, let's get to the profile real quick. Shall we go through it? And I'm going to give you some homework, and then I will remain at your disposal. Well, that sounds wrong, but I will remain at your service. How about that? For you to come back and show me what you're doing. So, okay, let's start with an outro. Okay. All right, view full profile. Cruise planners. I assume that is air, land, and cruise experts. Oh, I don't know what's behind there.
It's supposed to be your.
Okay. And if he needs to go out, you can quickly just I can put you on pause and you can go let him out and come back. And
no, that's good.
Are you good? Okay. Yeah.
Thank you.
So, Cruise Planners Travel Agency. I might not be your target audience because I don't do any kind of organized travel, because my idea of public transport is an elevator, and that is about as low as I'm going to go, right? But your content has to be all of this. Like if what I'm seeing here doesn't inspire me to scroll further, then you're lost. But how do I think about this? How do I get to this page? I only am going to get to this page because you are writing something on somebody's post, or you are creating content that the LinkedIn gods have deemed appropriate for me to see, right? And then let's quickly go to the home and show you an example, okay? It's really interesting to see what LinkedIn shows you and what they don't, right? So you can tell that I trained Ross how to do this with this little arrow and the see more button. You know what I mean? And to not give it all away and create a hook up here. Josh Curtis is really one of my favorite clients of all time. You know what I mean? And he makes really good content. This guy is a complete and utter nut job, but it's entertainment. And I find him really funny, and I've engaged with him. So that's why I keep seeing his stuff, right? Evan Thompson is really very, very good. What is that noise?
My phone's been like crazy. I'm trying to get it silenced.
Okay. So do you see what I mean? So like, we don't get to decide what LinkedIn shows people, but I want you to see the pattern through my scrolling here, because I get to see the profile picture. I get to see the name. You can use the area for the pronouns behind there somewhere, by the way, but I get to see luxury real estate agent. This guy could do way better. Doug Lawson is a friend of mine and a competitor of mine. You see what I mean? I love the guy. So I engage with his stuff, and he really knows how to do LinkedIn very well, right? Mizo is a friend of mine, and we are both the GIF kings. We just use GIFs. We can use a GIF for anything. I could do GIF wars with him. He would probably win. You know what I mean? Justin Welsh is fantastic at this game. You see what I mean? So you see, you don't actually get to see much, but this is the window of what you get to see. I only get to see this, Anne, because Ross Benson, who's a first-degree connection and a client of mine, has interacted with that post, right? So I'm only seeing things because friends of mine are interacting. So this section here, that line that goes underneath your headline, is super, super important, because as you're writing, as you're talking about things, right? That's all that people see, is that line down there.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's go back to Anne. So this portion, I think it's till about here, by the way, of what I've highlighted now. That is your most valuable real estate, because that has to speak to your purple man with the green hat.
Right.
You can try the whole mysterious thing, but you know what? People are not so smart. That line has to be talking to them. It's like Scott Jagodzinski, making men over 50 harder to kill. He is yanking at my call to action trigger finger, because he has called me out, and I don't want to be so easy to kill. And health is on my mind and on my brain. So therefore, this is an important thing for me. So he is talking directly to me. So now he has to follow that up with his content regularly, because, hey, people need to see you 30, 40, 50 times before they do anything these days. Gone are the days where you need 3 marketing touches. It's more like 500, right? So then, and the thing is, if that line gets me to click on your profile, then I need profile picture plus your banner plus something to convince me to scroll. So that's step 2. And once I'm scrolling, this featured section here, come back to my very scientific drawing here. That featured section has to lure me into the top of your funnel.
Okay.
my profile is kind of like out of date. I got to go and redo it, but so don't necessarily copy what I'm doing, because I have so much content that my pipeline is so full. I have just thousands and thousands of DMs of people saying, "Hey, let's talk. Can you help me?" All this kind of stuff. I mean, like if I did nothing else and I created no new content and I just went through my DMs, this weekend I could probably unearth 50, 60 clients in just in my DMs alone, by apologizing, saying, "Hey, I'm sorry I didn't get to you." Make sense? So for me, that is not so important right now. But for you, that featured section, 1 or 2 posts have to go into the top of your funnel. And the best place to do it, by the way, is write an article, Anne. And the same thing goes for Marius, because the article is a look through LinkedIn. So Google search results will pick up your article. And in the article, you can embed a YouTube video. Make sense? So you're not giving people external links, because this is an external link.
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn does not want to show this to anybody. It doesn't want you to go there, because you know what's going to happen after I watch this video.
And we're cruise planners.
I'm going to go here.
Okay.
Ooh, what's
Let's take
interesting?
our finger off the pause button and actually start talking about.
Oh, yeah. And they know that I'm going to be doing this. And then from there, I'm going to go and look at some travel porn over here. And then, Fiji. I want to go back to Fiji. And I'm gone. I'm lost. You've lost me, and LinkedIn has lost me. So LinkedIn does not want to show you this stuff at all.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is an article, now see how really hard it is to find them. God, it's so hard to find your articles. You've got to go there, then you've got to click here. Oh gosh, and then LinkedIn takes you there, and then I've got a article over here, but I want to show you a really cool little. Here's one of the top ways into my funnel. Galileo's grown up now like crazy now, and in here you will see there is a YouTube embedded video.
Hey, good morning. I'm talking a little softly. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm super excited. I couldn't sleep, so I wanted to get this going. Absolutely.
So now I've got an article that links to another video, that links to another thing, that links to my testimonials, right? And from there, you see why I'm doing all of this. So this is down the rabbit hole. So once I've got here, if you are my target audience, you are going all the way, and you're going into this, and then right at the bottom, click the thumbnail or this link. P.S. It's a trap, and then it takes you down into my rabbit hole. But the funny thing is, though, right? I want to show you this. Let's see if this works out. I did not plan this. I'm on DuckDuckGo, which probably is not the way to go. So let me go to Google, because that's where most of the world is, even though they are an evil monster. And people Google you. LinkedIn, company website, Twitter. Anything I write on LinkedIn goes to Twitter, even though I spend 0 time on Twitter because I just get sucked into the politics. YouTube videos, testimonial videos. Anybody checking me out goes, "Oh, this is interesting. Oh, fascinating stuff." Yeah, I mean, so then all these links come up, and then people go, "Oh, wow, that's super interesting." But you see how this is all basically dominated by me. Yeah, I mean, and then people go, "Oh, that's interesting. Let's go check that out."
Hey friends, my name is Andy Smith, and I have been
and instantly they go to a video, but what's at the top? LinkedIn. So that is why I say really, really, think through your strategy, and then just decide, okay, I'm going to create this kind of content plus this kind of engagement, If you can't do it every day, I've got a workshop somewhere that I've recorded of, because I can create a week's worth of content in less time than Laura Louise does one post. And it drives her absolutely nuts, right? But if I give you 30 minutes to say, hey, Anne, go and create five posts right away, you can do it in 30 minutes. So all you do is go to Hootsuite, use the free account at Hootsuite, because it will allow you to schedule 5 things, right? And Hootsuite is the only one that does video, but I have a whole workshop recorded on that. Create another free account if you want at Buffer. And at Buffer, you can schedule all your text and graphic posts. And you can just do that the afternoon session. And they're using free resources. You can literally just schedule your posts. And then that is off your shoulders. So now you're getting into the Pac-Man science, right? LinkedIn loves to promote your post if they know that you're online. So I schedule my post for 5:05 in the morning because I'm awake, and that's when I'm doing my LinkedIn support. So I'm on other people's posts. I also have a strategy in here called the shake, rattle, and roll that I've done. You go and find 10 people that you really love. You bookmark their stuff. I have it on the other computer. Basically using one tab, which is a plugin for Google Chrome. You can save all those 10 LinkedIn profiles, open them up, and go and engage on 10. I wouldn't go on influencers, but go hijack the feed of people who have your customers. That's some hard thinking. You got to think about that again, right? You got to think like Grant Cardone always goes, who's got my money? Who's got my money? And at first I thought he was being ridiculous, but then I'm realizing, no, the man has a point. Somebody's got his money. So who's got his money that he's going to get? You know that old saying, when a man with money meets a man with experience, the man with the money ends up with the experience, and the man with the experience ends up with the money, right? But it's a kind of a really great way to think about this, because like Grant Cardone has made a fan out of me, even though at first I found him very offensive. And then I'm like, no, the guy is brilliant. He's quite brilliant, because his style, his relentlessness, his ruthless approach to like, hey, if I can't deduct it off my taxes, or if it doesn't make me income, I'm not buying it. And here's a guy who's got a brand new, Global Express 650 and helicopters and all the toys in the world, but those things are either tax deductible or they're making him more money, right? And he's just relentlessly going after who's got my money. So with that approach, you've got to think about who's got my future customers.
Okay. Makes sense.
I might have a couple of them, but it all depends on your strategy, Anne. You see what I mean? So many guys who are like financial advisors or hedge fund managers, they write total garbage that is only attractive to other financial advisors or other hedge fund managers who want to write nasty stuff and come across as so important, right? Which is why Mario, for example, Ariel Lee's strategy works so well for her, because she doesn't need to cold call anybody. She's got this giant Hoover of a vacuum of just bringing all these people into her life, and from that massive funnel, she can go, you, not you, you, no way, not you, you, and you. And if you meet her personality, some people will go, oh God, no, I can't do business with a person like that. And other people will go, yeah, she's my cup of tea. You know what I mean? To the point that I even created a graphic for her with, with my Venn diagrams, where I go, okay, who's excited about finding unicorns? 4-year-olds, founders of technology companies, and Ariel Lee. You see what I mean? She knows her audience. So she's going after that audience in a way, but then you've got to have the middle of the funnel. This is where you need help. This is where you really want to get this right, because you've got to understand your buyer's journey. And you want to really focus on how do those people make a decision to invest, to spend, to do whatever. You know what I mean? So that I think is going too deep for this call, but really, really give your strategy some thought. Don't be disheartened by that it's not perfect, because it's never going to be perfect, but just become this iterationist. Like, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try that. And if that doesn't work, that's okay. I'll make it better. I'll make it better. I'll make it better. The important thing is that you're doing it, that you're doing something. Because the activity, the whole LinkedIn thing might take you 3 months to really get it going. And there is nothing better than turning up every morning and going, I'm here, hello, hello, hello. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm here. You know, authenticity, relentless, respectful authenticity goes so deep. People don't want to see a perfectly choreographed video with a wonderful, video ending, all that kind of stuff. They would much rather literally see you stepping in dog shit and then going, you know what? This is a bit like travel. This is a bit like planning a cruise. If you don't do it right, you're going to keep stepping in the same dog turd over and over and over again. Join me on Friday as I discuss this with all my friends. And by the way, there's going to be drinking and there's going to be cursing or whatever, but you can come. Yeah, I mean, and over time, your vibe is going to attract your tribe. It really, really works, this part. Just trust me on this one. You keep turning up in an authentic way, the people that resonate with you will come and find you. But at first, they like lurking, they're like... And then you do a post that has nothing whatsoever to do with business, that is really just something dumb. Like, I have one coming tomorrow about how my sweet wife leaves the car with 3 miles range, but we live 22 miles from the nearest gas station. So then the funny thing is, then some guy who's been lurking in the background for 3 weeks, watched all of my content, downloaded all of my videos, has never said anything, goes, you're right, my wife does that too. Now we're in a conversation. See what I mean? And now we're in the DMs. And in the DMs, then he sees me replying to him. You know what I mean? And then in the next DM, he goes, oh, by the way, I've been meaning to talk to you for ages. Can you help me with this? We're about to launch this company and we need to raise $100 million. We have no idea how to do it. And I'm like, yeah, duh. You know what I mean? And he goes, yeah, I've watched all your videos. I think you're the guy for us. And I'm like, and he goes, where do I sign up? So I said, no, I need to interview you first. I need to see whether you're a good fit, because I don't want your money. I want your success. Because if you're not successful, it doesn't feel good to me. Yeah, I mean, and then I have to give you your money back. But the problem is, I will have spent your money on stuff, and then the whole thing fails. So no, I need to interview you first. And during that interview, we're going to grab a nice glass of bourbon or a nice glass of wine, and we're going to talk and we're going to chat. And I schedule them for 26 minutes, and if they go well, they go to 260 minutes. And that is a client who, over time, will spend $300,000 in getting me to make them $1 billion or $2 billion. You see what I mean? So it's all relative, and it could be the same metrics apply, whether it's $200 leading to 2,000 leading to 2 million. It really, you've just got to create that avatar where you're going, who do I want to serve? Not who do I have to serve if I need the money, but who do I really want to serve? Because that authenticity, that will talk louder and stronger than anything else. And on the days that you don't feel like coming out and doing this, that authenticity is going to carry you over the line and create your fan club. So seriously, open invitation. You guys are very, very welcome to ping me your progress as you're making progress. You know, I'm not taking you here just to kind of drop you in it. You know what I mean? You know, I think in parting, try and make people to smile and learn something and take action. Smile, learn something, take action. Unfollow the others. You know what I mean? You know, Marius's audience is going to be very different than yours.
Okay.
But think of yourself, right? Like, why are you guys here? Well, because I make you smile. I'm always here. I am here relentlessly. You literally have to try very hard to avoid me. Then at some point, I'm going to call you out in the comments. I'm like, hey, what you doing? You know what I mean? I might introduce you to somebody. My sense of humor is totally off color, completely inappropriate all the time. And if that kind of stuff offends you, you wouldn't be here. Make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it really, really, I think it works, because I think you've got to try and find this overlap between shit that matters and shit you can control, right? And sorry for the bad language, but the stuff that matters is the types of people, and the types of people that are in your life is what actually matters. That's what matters. Because when your tribe turns up and responds and reacts to you and wants to buy from you and wants to introduce you to people, man, it's such a gift. Like it's just a wonderful thing. You know what I mean? So I really, really, you know, hope to have you guys on here. I don't do this thing live very often. You know what I mean? It's mostly for the Crushing It group, but I like doing this open and live like this, because it gets me to help people that are not experts, right? And this is where we all started. So for me, I don't mind disclosing this in a very selfish way. Me helping you is in its very definition a marketing event for future clients. And when I'm feeling like really lousy, I haven't even spoken about everything that's going on in the background. The last hour was like the highlight. I love doing this, and it shows, right? So the next time I invite you to the Crushing It thing, guess what? You guys might come, and some of the people who watched it. And these live videos, they have shelf life. They're going to be on my profile for quite a while, and 300, 400, 500, sometimes 1,000 people will watch them. And then that becomes part of your vibe, right? So the easiest way for you guys to do videos is start a Zoom call, hit record, talk about stuff, make it short, hit upload, hit it, and tag me. By the way, tag me if you're uploading videos, you know, so that then I can kind of help you with that. So what do you think?
Yeah,
I am
thanks.
Here. You got to talk to me.
Yeah, thanks, Arnick. I really appreciate. Got some good insights there, and I'll definitely DM you, and I think I want to take it further and see how we can maximize what I've got at the moment.
Yeah, and always, always take it to the comments. By the way, you know what I mean? Like, be super, super generous on LinkedIn with your comments. Two things happen. The algorithm will recognize that you want to be in each other's lives, but people will see you because you're commenting. It has to be more than 5 words, otherwise the algorithm doesn't recognize it. I mean, because just writing thanks means nothing. I mean, writing great post makes it sound like you're in a pod, and nobody wants those. Go on live things. Just don't let it take over your day. Just do 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the evening. And start taking your dog for a walk and doing a video. Find some way to hack your fear of coming out there and doing this stuff. You're very presentable. You have a nice style. People will naturally flock to you. But obviously, you want to think about your strategy and who your client is. You know what I mean? So I think let's leave it there. Unless you have specific questions, I'm happy to even stay here and grab a coffee and do them offline or online. It's really, really up to you. You know what I mean?
No, I thank you for the invite. It's been very informative. some of the stuff I knew I had to work on. So I guess that's a nice little push in that direction to maybe change things. And now Alexa's talking to me. There we go.
I know, she does to me all the time. Everyone's always listening. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it's given me a lot to think about and to really direct myself.
Yeah, I think for me as well, I think my main thing is, what is my target market? Who's those people? You know, the guy with the red hat, or is it the guy with the blue hat? And so
sometimes you don't know. You know what I mean? You really don't know. You really don't know, and that's hard. You know?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just thinking of the last few clients over the last 3 months. Who were those clients? And just like that guy, you know, over 50s, I just realized that most of my guys were men over the age of 50, you know, Gen Xers getting ready for retirement. And so maybe that is my target market, which I need to focus on. And so what do those guys do? You know, they play golf, they've got guns. I'm in the South, I'm in Colombia, you know, and what do they talk about? And so those are things that, you know, I'm starting to think about and say, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to post? What do I need to write about to draw those guys into my funnel?
And that is actually quite hard, and you might get stage fright because you can't figure that out. So if you're struggling with that, literally just start talking shit in the beginning. In some ways that illustrates your personality, that shows what you're doing, that shows that there's a real human, because people will connect with you as a human way more before they actually ask you what it is that you do for a living and how you can help them, right? And you know, in this industry, we are sometimes prone to overthinking and then not doing anything because we haven't figured it out yet, right? And there's a super easy hack, by the way. I can show you real quickly. Give me 2 minutes, right? Let me just switch this to a little bit bigger. I'll bring you back in a second, but I want to show you a wonderful hack. And Marius, tell me if you can see this, okay? So you just draw a simple line from 0 to 10. And in the world of financial advisory, financial planning, where would you rank your expertise from 0 to 10? Don't worry, nobody's listening. We're not holding you to this.
Yeah, I would say about a 7.
Okay, so here you are at a 7. Now, 5 years ago, where were you?
Yeah, most probably at a 2.
Okay, so in 5 years, you went from a 2 to a 7. So here's the interesting thing. So even at a 2, you could have helped 1 or 2 people because you knew more than them. So this is you now, okay? So let's draw you there. If you now just want to serve those people that were just like you 5 years ago, because here's the interesting thing, right? So you look at like the real experts, the really like the Ray Dalios of this world, who might be a 9 or a 10, 9.5, or you know, Ken Griffin or those guys. They are not here to help you. They're here to take your money. They are not going to put themselves on the line to help you. But I always find that people who are a 6 or a 7 that have come from a 2 are very prepared to help people because there are all these people here, and you literally can say, okay, I'm going to help you. 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 Because I used to be just like that. I didn't understand how this worked. And here are 3 things that I discovered that make people financially successful versus not. And by the way, financial success isn't everything, but boy, it helps, right? So now my ideal customer is myself from 5 years ago, because I'm now going to take all of you guys and help you and bring you up to here. And in that process, I'm going to go from a 7 to an 8 to a 9 to a 10. And in here are vacuums and vacuums. And I only want to deal with people who are also prepared to contribute and help other people. So I want to have little Marcies, little Mariuses, who are also, and I want to build a community of people who want to help other people. You see what I mean? And no, I don't want to deal with snowflakes. No, I don't want to deal with these kinds of people. I don't want to help people who only have one leg, whatever. It's just random. I'm just randomly generating some numbers. It's super important to know who you want to bring with you. And that is a loyal tribe that nobody can ever take away from you. These clients, once they see that progress, because progress equals happiness. It's really the number one thing. You know, think of yourselves. Anytime you achieve a certain outcome, anytime you get to where you want to be, anytime you buy that car or buy that thing, you've already moved on. But progress towards your goals is the thing that makes people happy. That's what makes people put in. So you've got to create a system to do this. 5 clients, 10 clients, 20 clients. Yeah, I mean, you know, I think you're doing great. I mean, you're literally doing it right now. I mean, I have not, you know, I've been hiding away from the comments, but there's a lot of people who now know that you exist. You see what I mean? I think it's a super way to, you know, to really just get out there and help people. And once you do that, you become a magnet by yourself, you know. Super nice comments from everybody. I'm sorry I've been ignoring most of the comments because I'm a typical man that cannot multitask. So I'm either talking or I'm, you know, playing with a computer, and I can't do both. So I think this has been really wonderful. I think the nicest thing for me so far has really been to get to know you guys, and and be given this opportunity to help you. And it feels great. It really feels great. No, it really does. It really feels great. And I want to thank both of you. You guys are always in my feed. You're always commenting. You're always responding. And I think that's really, you know, the gift of it all here. So you can literally do this starting tomorrow. Start talking, start writing, start creating stuff. In the beginning, it's going to feel like crickets. But they will come. They will come.
Field of dreams, build it and they will come.
That's it. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, I'm going to love and leave you at that note. And
thanks, Arnie.
Any questions you have, come back and, you know, ping me a question. I normally do this every first and third Wednesday, so you're always welcome to attend.
Okay.
All right, guys. Bye. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. And that's a wrap. That was super fun. I really enjoyed that. And, you know, was really nice to have Anne and Marius on. Thank you very much for playing full out. Thank you for everybody for the great comments. I'm sorry I didn't get to posting them all, but there were loads on. Who's the LinkedIn user? Somebody's in disguise. Scott is there. Stuart is there. Oh, Syed came. I'm sorry, I did not see your comment, and I know I have an unanswered question here. What should be the approach if you have 2 distinct potential business lines? Teaching, education, training, or financial markets, but also consulting to the whole markets? Yes, create 2 identities. But Stuart, let's get into that in the next Crushing It course. Love to see you guys all. Bye. Wonderful. Ciao.